What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about Superman issue number 1, Dawn of DC. That's right, Superman is back in a new series, I suppose. We had Superman Rebirth, we also had the Brian Michael Bendis Superman book, and then you had Superman Son of Kal-El and all that other stuff. But now Clark Kent is back in the title role. This one is written, of course, by Joshua Williamson with art by Jamal Campbell. And this is kind of the start of a new era of Superman. A lot of that kind of started in like Action Comics. This one's kind of setting the stage. And in a lot of ways, it makes me think back to the good old days of Superman Rebirth by Tomasi and Gleason with the warm, beautiful looking artwork. I think Jamal Campbell was born to do Superman artwork. I think it's just a match made in heaven. Just everything about this issue, I think, was firing on all cylinders. It has an interesting hook. Superman is being Superman. It's great to see. Lois is in top form. Jimmy's there. Lex Luthor is doing something very interesting. And in a lot of ways, it's something really creative that kind of makes me think back to like a 60s Batman episode. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but it feels like something a 60s Batman villain would do, in that you have Lex Luthor here, who basically gives Superman ownership of LexCorp, which is now being known as Supercorp, which don't tell the Supergirl TV show shippers, because I saw a post about it. It's like, hey, welcome to Supercorp, and then they got so mad at DC for posting it. It's like, oh, how did you not know that this was the case? I mean, I didn't really realize that until I saw the post about it on social media, but I was laughing my ass off. It's like, the show's over, let it go. But anyways, so written by Williamson, who did really well with the Robin book. I was pretty sad that he was ending that book, but at least he's going on to doing something good with Superman, and I think he's doing a 6-issue Green Arrow series, which I kind of figured he would, given that he was using a lot of Arrow characters in his in the Robin book, and he was also writing the Deathstroke family, so he was kind of writing a bit of everything. But now he's doing Superman, which I think is a good fit. I think everyone is kind of on point here. Like I said, this is kind of starting a new status quo with Lex Luthor now in prison. We get kind of flashbacks to Clark is, and like I said, this Jamal Campbell artwork is so good. It's so fitting of Superman. You get some great stuff here. Lois, of course, is now new editor-in-chief at the Daily Planet. Clark has got his secret identity back, which is a great thing. I think that was a dumb move for Bendis to do. Like, why would Superman give away his entire secret identity just for them to kind of go back on it? See, it limited Clark Kent's storylines, made things rough for John Kent, and it just kind of wasn't the best thing to do. So now you've got a secret identity back. Lois is kind of getting acclimated to her new job. You get bits of him fighting villains. You get with particularly Livewire in one instance, and bits of Parasite and all that. And you also get moments of Superman just showing his good side, where he's being like the pastor at a wedding or something after some incidents went down. But yeah, like I said, and Lois, of course, being horny as shit for Superman. So you get some of that. But like I said, I like the idea of this Supercorp that they got going on here. Mercy Graves looking really great in this art style, and Lex Luthor, his whole reasoning before is like, I've given you full ownership of this thing, Superman. Also, if you say no to it, then a bunch of employees are going to lose their jobs. Yeah, it's kind of a goofy explanation for it all, but it puts the pressure on Superman, and it gives Lex Luthor some sort of edge, and even making himself his own little hologram. And Superman just kind of pissed off because he's like originally trying to turn down this offer, but he's not going to let the civilians lose out on work. So Lex Luthor, in a way, is letting his influence be known with Superman. I think that's a really cool, interesting idea for the story. And of course, Superman can hear his voice wherever he's talking and all that. So I really like this issue. I thought it had a strong start. It sets the stage for a lot that's to come with this book. Beautiful looking artwork. I think Williamson gets the characters quite well in here, and I just have a really good feeling about reading Superman right now. I think Superman's in good hands under Williamson. So, and like I said, this gorgeous looking cover, just look at it. Look at the colors. Look at the art. Look at that sense of warmth to it. It just feels good to be reading a Superman book again. Now, I've been trying to catch up on some of the Philip Kennedy Johnson stuff, because every time I'm like, okay, I'm going to catch up, and I get a few issues behind in that. But I mean, I'm liking that stuff too. I didn't really care much for Son of Kal-El. I gave it a chance, and I read every issue, but by the end of it, I'm like, this is just not that great. But now that I'm reading this stuff again, I'm like, okay, this has got me interested. This is some pretty good stuff. And now it feels good. I'm getting back into Superman stuff again after the whole Bendis fiasco, which basically just sucked all the joy out of reading Superman comics. It just kind of put me off from reading it for a while. Now, you got Philip Kennedy Johnson doing his thing. Dan Jurgens, of course, is in the book now, but like, you start to get the good word of mouth again. And now that Williamson is back on this, we got a fresh start with this new number 1, this Dawn of DC, which is basically just Rebirth 2.0, although probably not quite as memorable in some instances. but at least it's better than what we were going for the past couple of years with the whole future state angle and all that other stuff. Dark Crisis. Now, if we can just push that behind Lazarus Planet and then really kind of move into this new Dawn of DC thing, take a good hiatus away from events for a while, I think we'll be in pretty good shape with DC. Give us some more smaller focused storylines, some solo titles like this, not too many crossovers, but still understanding where things are at in terms of continuity and that, and I think we'll be in really good hands. So this is a very strong start to Superman. Like I said, I think it accomplishes its goal. It sets the stage for an interesting new story. The writing for Superman is on point. Lois is great. Jimmy's great. Lex is being Lex Luthor, and he has kind of a new interesting way of getting back at Superman, but also still kind of staying in prison, but still putting himself up as like the hero of Metropolis in a way. I like that. I like this new angle that Luthor is going for with this thing. I think it's kind of fresh and interesting. At least it's something that I haven't seen. Maybe it's been done before, but I kind of like what he's doing here and putting the pressure on Superman. Oh yeah, like I'm like still giving Lex Luthor some sort of control because he knows Superman's not about to let a bunch of people lose their jobs and stuff. So I thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, there we go. Those are my quick thoughts on Superman #1. A definite recommend for me. As the cover says here, the Man of Steel back in action. He's Clark Kent. He's Superman. The sins of Bendis are kind of in the past right now. I know it's hard. I know Bendis is an easy target, but he did do a lot of damage to the Superman brand, to John Kent and all that. And a lot of writers have tried to pick up the slack in it. And just, I've accepted what's going on with John because John is just pretty much gone for me as a character anymore, but at least Clark is back where he can be at the forefront of things, and in pretty good hands with Williamson. So look, you can't always, yes, as Rafiki says, yes, the past can hurt, but you can either run from it or learn from it. And it seems like that's what they're going to be trying to do from here. Hopefully they've learned from their past mistakes and we get some really good Superman titles for the time being. Like, these books have to be good. There shouldn't be mediocre Superman books at DC right now. This should be all firing on all cylinders. This is Superman. This is the most important comic book character in history. I'm a Batman fan, but Superman is probably the most important character in comic book history. So it's good that he's in good hands. So yeah, I've rambled on long enough. I say go ahead, give this thing a read. Support good Superman books, because that's what we need. It just puts a smile on my face to be reading Superman again. So yeah, there we go. That's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.